My wife took off her wedding ring for every work trip, so I followed her to Vegas and watched her cheat in real time. I never thought I'd be the kind of guy who'd end up stalking his own wife. But here I am, 34, married for 7 years, and sitting alone in a rental car outside a Vegas hotel, heart pounding, palms sweating, watching the woman I thought I knew walk into a bar like she doesn't have a husband at home. Let me back up. My name's Jason, born and raised in Ohio, now living just outside Denver with my wife, Megan. Megan works in sales for a big pharmaceutical company. Constant business trips, trade shows, conferences. You know the type. She's great at what she does, always the center of attention, confident as hell. I'm in IT, so I work remotely. Our schedules never really clashed until they did. I started noticing things about 6 months ago. The first time it hit me was when Megan was packing for a conference in Chicago. I walked into the bedroom as she was zipping up her suitcase. Her engagement ring and wedding band were sitting on her nightstand. "Babe, you forgot these," I said, holding them up. She gave me a quick glance, almost startled, and said, "Oh, I was just washing my hands and forgot to put them back on." Fair enough. We were in a rush. I let it go. But then it happened again. And again. Every time she had a trip, the ring stayed behind. Once. Okay. Twice. Maybe coincidence. But every damn time. So I started asking subtle questions. How was the hotel? Who'd you sit next to at dinner? Did you get any downtime to walk around? Her answers were always vague. Too vague for someone who usually told me every boring detail of her day. One night after she got back from Miami, I checked her photos. Nothing suspicious, mostly business suits, a hotel ballroom, a shot of a skyline. But then I noticed she hadn't posted any of them on her socials. Megan is the kind of woman who posts her latte art, so this struck me as weird. Then the kicker came 2 weeks ago. I was folding laundry and found a tiny receipt from a jewelry store in her coat pocket. Clean and Polish service, no ring size adjustment. Paid $45. Customer, M. Roberts. The date? The day before her last trip to Atlanta. She had her rings cleaned, but didn't wear them. Why? That night, she told me she was going to Las Vegas for a conference. For days. Same hotel she always stays in. Nothing out of the ordinary, except this time, she double-checked her carry-on like 3 times and made sure everything was perfect. She still left her rings behind. So I made a choice I never thought I'd make. I told her I had a work project I couldn't avoid and wouldn't be home much anyway. I kissed her goodbye, told her to have a safe flight, and the next morning I booked a last-minute ticket to Vegas. I didn't tell anyone. Just packed a small bag, flew out early, rented a car, and checked into a budget hotel down the strip. That night, I drove over to her hotel and parked across the street. At 7:12 p.m., I saw her walk out the front doors wearing a red dress I'd never seen before. No ring. She smiled at the doorman, laughed at something a valet said. Then she turned and walked across the street, toward a bar I knew wasn't part of her hotel. And that's when I knew something was going on. I had no idea what I was about to find out. But I wasn't going anywhere. I didn't go in right away. I sat there, staring through the windshield, trying to convince myself that maybe this was all just innocent. Maybe she just liked getting attention at the bar. Maybe she didn't want to deal with awkward questions about being married. Maybe. Then a man walked in behind her. Tall, clean-shaven, suit just casual enough for Vegas, but sharp enough to say, "I've done this before." He didn't look like some drunk tourist. He looked like he belonged there. And he walked in like he knew she'd be there. I waited 5 minutes before I got out of the car. My hands were shaking. I slipped on a hoodie, pulled the cap lower over my face, and crossed the street like I was just another tourist. I didn't go in through the front of the bar. They had this side entrance, barely marked, where the smokers were hanging out. I slipped in and immediately scanned the room. There she was, Megan, sitting in a dim booth at the back, laughing, holding a martini, and the man was sitting right across from her. He reached over and touched her hand. I swear to God, I almost blacked out. But I couldn't blow it. Not yet. So I sat at the bar, ordered a soda I didn't drink, kept my head down and my ears open. They were maybe 20 feet away, but I could hear bits and pieces over the music and the buzz of other conversations. "Can't believe you came all the way out this time," she said. "Wouldn't miss it." "You know that," the guy replied. Then she said something I'll never forget. "I feel like a different person when I'm here." Different person. I stayed there for almost 2 hours. I watched them drink, laugh, flirt. At one point, she leaned across the table and kissed him. Quick, like a secret. Like muscle memory. When they finally got up, I followed. They walked hand in hand out of the bar, around the corner, and straight back into the hotel. Not to the lobby, not to the elevators, but through a private entrance with a room key scan. I couldn't follow them without raising suspicion. So I stood there in the shadows, watching the red, "Access denied," light flash on the door as I stood with my useless keycard to my own crappy room. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I drove to a 24-hour diner, ordered pancakes I couldn't eat, and just stared at the booth across from me, playing it over and over. How many times had she done this? Was it just this guy, or were there others? Did she even love me anymore? Had she ever? At 6:30 a.m., I drove back to her hotel. I waited. At 8:17, she came out. Alone, wearing sunglasses, coffee in one hand, phone in the other. She looked normal, like the same woman who had kissed me goodbye 2 days ago. But I knew now. That version of her didn't exist anymore. Maybe never did. I tailed her for the rest of the day. She went to a real conference. Checked in. Attended a few sessions. Took notes. Even posted a selfie in front of a Welcome to MedTech 2025 banner. She played the role so well. Even I started to second-guess myself. But I couldn't ignore what I'd seen. The kiss. The hand on hers. The line about being a different person. And I wasn't done. If she thought Vegas was her escape, then fine. I'd be her shadow. And shadows see everything. By the third day, something in me had shifted. I wasn't just sad anymore. I was angry. Angry that she looked me in the eyes before this trip and kissed me like everything was fine. Angry that I was now the one living in the shadows while she played pretend in the lights. But most of all, I needed answers. I spent the day collecting receipts, photos, video clips, everything I could without blowing my cover. I even got footage of her and the guy, who I now knew was named Ryan, thanks to a room service bill she signed. I'd paid a hotel staffer $100 to let me peek at the billing records for room maintenance purposes. Vegas money talks. That night, I watched them leave the hotel again. This time they went to dinner at some rooftop steakhouse. I didn't follow them up. I just waited. 2 hours later, they came out, arm in arm. He kissed her neck while they waited for the valet. That was it. The moment I stopped feeling like I was watching someone I loved and started feeling like I was watching a stranger. Back at my room, I made a choice. I emailed myself every file, every photo, every video, copied everything to a flash drive, and labeled it Megan Vegas. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet. Part of me thought, show her, blow it up, burn it all down. But another part of me wanted something even worse. Silence. I flew home early the next morning. She didn't even know I'd ever left Denver. When she got back 2 days later, she waltzed into the house like she'd missed me so much. Hugged me, kissed me, pulled out a souvenir mug from her bag like it was some grand gesture. Found this in the hotel gift shop, she said. Thought of you. I took it, said thanks, and stared at her. She slipped her wedding ring back on her finger like it belonged there. And I smiled. The next week, I met with a lawyer. Quietly. Just a consultation. Told them I wasn't ready to pull the trigger yet. I just wanted to know my options. No kids. No shared debt. It'd be clean. Easy even. But I didn't file. Not yet. Instead, I decided to wait. To see if she'd do it again. And guess what? She did. Last weekend, she told me she was heading to San Diego for a client meeting. I checked her jewelry dish the next morning. No rings. I didn't follow her this time. I didn't need to. Because I already knew everything I needed to know. So here I am, sitting on our back porch, typing this out while she's off living her other life again. I'm not crying. I'm not even mad anymore. I think, weirdly, I've come to peace with it. I don't know how to end this yet. I haven't told her what I know. Haven't confronted her. But I'm not keeping it bottled up anymore either. Maybe I'll tell her tomorrow. Maybe I'll let her come home, smile, kiss me, pour a glass of wine, and then I'll hand her the flash drive. Or maybe I'll just leave. No fight. No shouting. No drama. Just a note on the counter. I saw everything. Hope Vegas was worth it. Whatever I do next, I know one thing for sure. She stopped wearing her ring a long time ago. And now, I'm done pretending it still means anything.